iOS customization video. It automatically goes to this little pumpkin. Apple finally listened, and we finally can have pink apps. It's September, and if you know what that means, you know we're back with another iOS customization video. Every single September, I love making these videos when Apple releases their new iOS update. This year is actually iOS 26, which may be a little bit of a jump scare for you because if you remember last year, it was iOS 18. So it's kind of like, where's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25? I don't really know exactly why they skipped so many. The only thing that kind of makes sense is that they wanted it to match their other iOSs. So instead of iOS 19, it is going to be iOS 26. Now, I do also want to make the disclaimer that right now the beta version is out. This is currently being filmed the week before the actual update comes out. iOS 26 is available for anyone on beta right now, but also to the public when it actually comes out more securely to the public on Monday the 15th. And if you know me, I usually do download the betas because I love being able to download something right away and having a customization video out there that's like, okay, this is everything you need to know. This is what's cool. This is what is aesthetic and everything like that, coming from somebody who is not Apple savvy. And what I mean by that is I don't know much about technology stuff. I just love making my phone look cute and looking at the new features. So I have the iPhone 16 Pro Max in, I believe it's called Natural Titanium. I really love it, and my case is from Velvet Caviar. Not that it's a what's on my iPhone, but I do get some questions sometimes. And now we're gonna go right into iOS 26. I am so excited. I downloaded this last night after the Apple event. I'm so excited for the iPhone 17. That's gonna be a whole different video. I'm thinking of making like a pre-ordering my iPhone video, but that's a whole different topic. First things first, the question I get all the time is how do I download beta or how do I download iOS 26 when it actually does come out to the public? I'm gonna start screen recording and then we're gonna get right into it. So to download iOS 26, any beta version, or when it actually comes out to the public, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go into your settings. Once you're into settings, you're gonna go to general, you're gonna go to software update, and depending on when you download it, if you're downloading it before, there's something that says beta updates here on the bottom, you're gonna click it and you're gonna enroll. When it's an actual update that comes out to the public, it's just gonna pop up here. All you're gonna do is follow the steps and it will automatically download on your phone. That's literally all you have to do. Your phone will do the rest of the work. So once it actually downloads, you're gonna get a screen that looks like this. It's gonna say welcome, and it's going to quickly walk you through a little glimpse of what iOS 26 is. Then when you come onto your phone, that's when everything really starts, and that's when the whole wow factor really kicked in for me. So the first thing I noticed about iOS 26 that automatically caught my eye is the liquid glass feature. This looks so cool. It literally looks so silky, so smooth, and it kind of just pops out to me really, really nicely. I'm gonna show you what I mean right now. So if you look at my phone, this is what it looks like. As you can see, it is all decked out for fall, which I do have another video up on my channel about, but it's also completely different than how it was on the old iOS 18 version. There's like this very silky glass feature, which I think is really cool. There's also something really cool going on with the apps that we're going to talk about in a minute, but that is my first impression. I automatically see how my wallpaper is kind of see-through. I can automatically see when I move my apps, the wallpaper through it, which I think is really cool. And I also love this liquid glass feature. I love when things are silky. I love when everything looks really aesthetic, and I feel like the liquid glass is something that definitely does that with iOS 26. Another thing I wanted to show is when you open your phone, the liquid glass bubbles for your password. I think that is really cool and very silky. I just wanted to show that because I do think it is a little bit of a new feature. Now going into one of my favorite parts and what we're gonna start off with in this video, the lock screen. There's so many things I want to talk about right now. I'm like overwhelmed. I feel like iOS 14 was one of the biggest customization updates in Apple that was recent, and I feel like this is going to be another one because it is really cool and there's a lot of things that you can do. So as you can see right here, this is my lock screen, and it probably looks a bit different than any of the other lock screens that I've had in my past, and that is because there's a new feature on Apple that is really cool, and you can kind of customize your whole entire lock screen. So if I go into this lock screen over here and I want to customize it, all you do is hold down, hit customize, hit on the font. Now, there's something completely different. The one thing I do want to say is it depends on what font you're using. The one that I found works the best is the one farthest to the left, so this one right here. There's a few different things you can do. You can obviously make the font thicker or smaller. That has been a thing for a while. Another thing you can do is you can change the color, you can change the tone of the color down here. A new thing is you can make it go from glass to solid. So if you don't like that liquid glass feature, there is a way to turn it off on your lock screen. I personally do, so we're going to turn it back to liquid glass. And of course, you can also match the color, so you can kind of just do this droplet and pick what color you want. So for example, we're going to click that and then click what color I want on my home screen that I want the color to be, and it'll automatically change the color of the font, which I think is really cool. And then you could adjust it on the bottom. Nothing's really new about that. It's been like that for a while. Now, the cool thing is, let's say I click out of this. Now I can move my widgets down here by just dragging them, which I think is a kind of cool look. And another really cool thing is I can make my time bigger. So if I drag this down, you can make the time as big as you want. It really gives it a cool and nice effect, and I think the aesthetic of it is so beautiful, and I really, really like it. I also kind of like how the widgets on the bottom kind of look like this. I think there's so many different things that you can do with them, and I personally do really like that. So that's the first thing that I realized with the lock screen that I'm like, wow, that stands out to me. I automatically love this. Now, another thing I really like, I'm gonna go to a different wallpaper I have to show you, is this wallpaper with me and my boyfriend. So something that makes this a little bit different is we are in front of the time. We're not behind it, and there's a way you can do that. So if you click these little 3 dots by my leg over here, there's gonna be a depth effect that comes up. If you click that, it'll put you either behind or in front of the time. So as you can see now, I'm behind the time. I want to be in front of the time. I would click it again, and then we're automatically in front of the time, and you can kind of adjust it to how you want it to be, and I think that's really cool. From what I remember, that has never been a thing before, and I love how it looks when the time is kind of blended into the background. I think that looks amazing. So that's the main things that are new on the lock screen. I think they're really cool, and I think it's definitely worth a little revamp customization of the phone. Next, we're gonna move on to my next favorite customization, which is actually the app cover. So I think for years I've been saying I wanna have pink apps, but not in the way where I have to go to the tinted feature and then tint them that way. I wanna have pink apps that are just translucently pink, where I can see the background behind it. Apple finally listened, and we finally can have pink apps, or whatever color you may want. So to do that, you're gonna hold down on your lock screen, you're gonna click edit. Now there's a whole new little selection button up here. You're gonna click customize. Once you get to customize, you see these little 4 different selections. So you have default, which we always had, dark, which we had, and tinted, which we had last year. A new one we have is clear. We're gonna go through all of them. So default is just the regular default apps that come from the App Store and on your phone. Dark mode is dark mode. We've had that for a while. Tinted is where you can have your apps be pink, for example, but they're not fully pink, they're not translucent.
Just in case I didn't make this clear, with the new tinted feature, if you click on edit and then go into customize, this is what the old tinted feature look like. Now Apple actually gives us the opportunity to also make it light tinted. So if I click light, it changes all of the apps to the light mode, and it still has that tinted look. You can click the sun to make it a little bit lighter to match your wallpaper, and then you can also adjust. So that is another way to make it pink as well while using the tinted feature.
Now there's a new feature called clear, where you can actually make the color of your lock screen match the color of your apps, and they're all translucently the same color. So for example, if I click this, there's also a way to make them dark, there's a way to make them auto, and there's a way to make them light as well. The cool thing is it'll match your background. You don't have to go through and try to make it match your background. It matches it automatically. Now another thing I want to say is if you did want to have that like light effect on your clear liquid glass apps, you just click this sun and it'll make your phone go back to light rather than in dark mode. Personally, I like it like this, so I'm going to leave it in the dark mode.
Another thing I was saying before, I changed my lock screen for the purpose of the video, but when your phone's in clear mode, you can also see the translucency of the app, and you can see the lock screen through the app, which I think is really cool, especially when you're moving it from page to page. You can see the flowers behind the app.
And then another thing down here is you can click this little square button over here, and that'll enlarge your apps and take away the app names on the bottom. So this is a really cool feature that I personally really like, and I think it's really gonna be big in the Apple community, because for me personally, I've wanted pink apps, I've wanted clear translucent apps for so long, and now we finally have them, and I think it's really cool. Next, we're gonna move on to messages because I just can't wait about this one. So if you go into messages, I'm gonna create a message to myself. And then when we click on the person's name at the top or the photo, there's a new feature next to info that says background. If you click on that, there's something really cool that pops up where you can change the background of your messages. This is so cool. I really like it. There's a lot of customizations that you can choose from on the bottom here. You can even add your own photos as well, which I think is really cool. So for example, if I wanted to add, I don't don't know, this one, it will change the background of my messages to be the ocean that I have from this picture on my phone. I click this little check mark at the top, I go to my messages, and now I can say, hey, and the message is right there, but the background is so cool. And I think that's a really unique feature that they have. They also have so many different features that you can choose from. So if you choose this one right here, you can also change the color. Let's say you want it to be blue and you want this color to be pink. That's an option as well, and I think that is really neat. I also like how you can choose your own photo. Let's say it's a picture of you and your friend and you guys want that to be your background, you can do that as well, which I think is amazing. So that's the new message update, which I really wanted to show because I think it's so unique and I think it could really add a little spice to the phone. Alright, the next feature that we have is with camera. So if I go into camera, automatically you can see that it's different. I think that that liquid glass effect is doing so much. I also love the camera revamp. I think we've been overdue for this for a while. Another thing that they changed on the bottom is how you can switch between video and photo. So if I click video here on the bottom, then I can kind of scroll and see all of the ones that I would want. But if I'm just on photo, it shrinks it down to just be on photo. We of course have our zoom in and zoom out, which is kind of like the same thing. I know that on the iPhone 17, something cool is coming with that, but for now, iOS 26, this is what we have. And then at the top, we have this new little button where you can quickly turn things on and off. So if you wanted night mode off, you wanted night mode on, you wanted flash off or on, and then you have this 6-button thing as well. If you click that, this is a really easy, accessible way to turn everything on and off. So if you want your timer, you want your live photo, you want your exposure, just a very easy, accessible way to be able to access everything, which is a lot different than how the camera was in the previous years. Next, we're gonna go to Safari. I think that this update is really cool as well. So if I go into Safari, there's a new feature, which has actually been here for a while, but I haven't really talked about it in a lot of my videos. You're able to change the background of your Safari. So if I click edit, there's this whole thing that comes up where you can physically change the background of what you want your Safari to look like. So if I click on my photo and I find a photo that I want my background to be, all I do is click it and then it'll automatically change my background to be this really pretty fall background that I think is really neat. I think that all of the little customizations that come on the phone are really cool. I'm trying to find a different word for cool, but I just love that aesthetic and oh my gosh, look at her phone kind of vibe. I will spend hours on hours customizing my phone and come on, that is so cute. I'm obsessed with it. And there's so many different options that you can choose too. You can literally choose any picture you want. They give you some that come on the phone as well. Now we're gonna move on to photos. I'm very excited about photos because I think there's a really neat new feature that I personally really like. So I'm gonna use this picture of me and my friend Ariella kind of just to show you exactly what I mean. So photos has a whole new revamp as well, as you can probably tell, but something that really stuck out to me is this right here button at the top right under the 3 dots. If you click it, it changes your photo to this scene where if you move your phone, it's like you're popping out of the photo and the background's kind of still behind you. I think that is so stinking cool. It's not even funny. I also like it because it makes the photo look live even if it's not, and it moves with where you move your phone, if that makes sense. And it's also nice because there's a way to turn it on and off very easily. Personally, I think that's amazing. I don't know if you can like post the photos like that, but it is cool to look at, and I do know you can make those your lock screen photos as well. The only other thing that I saw was this thing called head tracking, which is in settings. So if you go to settings, you go to accessibility, or just type it in on the bottom and then click head tracking. It's really cool because you can like set actions on your phone to open certain apps. So let's say I turn on head tracking and then I want to do a smile, for example. And when I click smile, I want that to open my, let's say, front camera. I click on front camera and then I smile, and it opens my camera. Personally, I don't think I would use it often because I feel like I would get annoyed by the feature of it always opening, but I do think it is a little bit of a cool technique that is nice if you don't mind things randomly opening on your phone. Another thing I wanted to quickly show is that when you screenshot something now, let's say I screenshot this, there's something that pops up and you have to either approve the screenshot or not approve it. There's also this little button on the bottom where you can search. So I can hit continue and I can search things from my actual screenshot, which I think is pretty neat. And then to approve the screenshot, you just hit the check at the top and then hit save to photos. The next thing I did want to show is that when I plug my phone into the charger, it automatically goes to this little pumpkin. Look at how cute that is. I think that's adorable. I did do this through the app Miko, so if I go into Miko, something called Charging Show, and I think it's a little bit new on their app. Basically what you do is you click Charging Show, all of the little charging ones are gonna pop up. I found the pumpkin one just by scrolling, it's right here. You click it and then you follow the steps on the Shortcuts app. It literally walks you through it exactly. And then all you do is click automatic, and then every single time you plug your phone in, it'll be automatically, and this little cute pumpkin will pop up, which I think is adorable.
Also, something I wanted to show is the new wallpaper. So even the wallpaper on the actual screen once you're in your phone is honestly the same. There is a new way that you have to change your wallpaper. So if you click down, you can't do it through lock screen anymore. You have to go to edit and then edit wallpaper, and then you can change it here on the bottom. So if you click photo and then you click this little square over here, it comes up with two selections, show photo in library, which it'll take you right to the photo in the library, or you go back into edit and then add, and then you choose photo, and then you can click a new photo that you want to add for your wallpaper.
Other than that, that's pretty much all that I wanted to show. There is a new app that came on the phone, which is called Playground. I haven't really looked much into that, so if you do know what that is about, please let me know because I am kind of curious. But that is everything I have for iOS 26. I'm very excited about this new update. I love the liquid glass, and I think the clear apps are so cool and just a really cool feature that a lot of people are going to love. If you have iOS 26 or you're downloading it or you're customizing your phone and you're excited, definitely let me know because I'm personally very excited about it and I already have it on my phone. I think that the whole entire Apple community who loves customizing their phone are going to love this. It is reminding me a little bit of iOS 14. I think nothing will actually ever be iOS 14 because that's when widgets became a thing, but I do think the liquid glass and the customization of your lock screen and the new apps are really, really nice as well. If you stayed up until this point of the video, comment this emoji down below, and I'll see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye.